Let's begin our show with the latest NBA team values, guys, and give us a quick snapshot, Michael, of the latest team valuations.
How's this for a quick snapshot, guys? I don't think the NBA could be doing any better than it is right now. The average team is now worth $1.1 billion, the first time ever NBA team values went past $1 billion. And aside from the Brooklyn Nets, every other NBA team is profitable.
All right, so what's driving those kinds of increases right now, Chuck?
That's a great question, Bob. I think it's a number of things. I think, for one, the NBA obviously just signed a huge new media deal, tripling the last deal. Secondly, the international growth prospects for the league are enormous right now. Thirdly, they've got labor peace. There's a scarcity in terms of teams available. The Hawks are on the market, the Nets maybe. And then there's what I always call the cool factor. I mean, how cool is it to own an NBA team?
Are you asking me? Because I don't know, but I'd love to know and find out one day. We also, I wonder, by the way, Steve Ballmer knows that right now. And Michael and I joke about this, but we call it the Ballmer effect because of him writing a check for $2 billion overvalue for the Clippers. How much of a ripple effect has that had?
Well, some would say it's overvalued, some wouldn't. I do think it has a ripple effect. I think that when anybody pays that price for a team in a league with a set number of teams, it's going to have a ripple effect. That said, I think there were certain things that came together in L.A. For Steve Ballmer. It's L.A. It's the second biggest media market in the world. He could afford the team. It was a heated and quick auction. And lastly, there was the white knight effect. There was this perception, right or wrong, that Steve Ballmer was coming in and sort of saving the team. And so I think it's a bit of an outlier, but I do think it has a ripple effect.
And we also always talk about TV rights deals. Chuck mentioned the national one, which helps. And then, of course, the local one for the L.A. Clippers is going to help that team as well, right?
Yeah, that deal is expected to probably triple, certainly more than double. And I think it's really fascinating, too, because you look at Ballmer. Here's a guy, right, the former CEO of Microsoft, Pierce O'Donnell, Shelley Sterling's attorney, the wife of Donald Sterling, the party that sold the team, said he never even saw the financials of the Clippers. So when you got that kind of money, you know, I think the fact that it was an L.A. team. But I've got to ask Chuck, you know, going back to the global prospects of the NBA, how much money are we talking about, and what type of growth rate, roughly, are we seeing in the NBA right now from overseas?
That's a good question, Mike. So I believe that the NBA really has only started to monetize its international operations. Last year, 13-14 season, international operations accounted for about $350 million of a $5.6 billion pool. So really very, very little. Growing estimated to be about 18.5% year on year. So I think we're going to continue to see that increase. And I think as Adam and his colleagues work to monetize the potentiality of the NBA overseas, it's going to grow pretty astronomically.
All right, so where else would he see the growth opportunities overseas, Adam Silver? It's already in China, obviously, but
China
where else?
For sure. China has 350 million reported NBA fans, more than the population of the U.S. India, another great market, probably the second most popular sport in India. Europe and South America, I think, all great growth opportunities.
Yeah, and I think if you look at where a lot of the NBA players come from today, you know, it's a good thing in terms of international growth prospects that so many of them come from outside of the United States, right? And they're very widely followed on social media, which, you know, going back from our segment on Ron Adive, the new owner of the Sacramento Kings, we know that's going to be an increasingly important part of the business model of the NBA.
And that really seems, over the past 5 to 10 years, a big boom for leagues as well, right? Get as many people involved in social media as possible.
It has been. And for the NBA, I think they're probably the most well-followed U.S. sports league on social media. I was reading that 9 of the top 10 U.S. athletes on social media are actually NBA players. Over 50% of the NBA.com traffic comes from overseas. So they've done a good job on the social media front.